Hello everyone, so welcome back. This is another update in which people are already posting, as you can hear in the background on Discord. I really should get rid of that, but whatever, we'll go with it. I'm probably going to get multiple things happening throughout this, so we're just going to roll with it. And I already realised we need to see the bottom of my my screen here because I've got my version set up here now. So what we're doing is we're looking at a pre-alpha build of my game, and I've just added a couple of new things in here. I'll go over them because they're only minor until I get to like the editor bit and the new section that I introduced. So this is the test level, not the tutorial / demo, more reminder level that I made previously. This is the sort of like the work floor or the workroom floor where I normally just throw everything in and then see if it works. So we click play here and we've already got the usual. We start off with that Halo-esque intro that I like, that I did early on to kind of lead into everything. And then at the bottom, as you can see, we've got version 2.3, which is today. And what's been done straight out the gate is I've moved some of the things around. We've got the objectives which have been moved, and I could do this before already, but we can tab out of them so we don't need to see them if we don't want. The pause menu has been changed around. It was lower down. That's been altered now, so it's been raised slightly. And then also we've got one of the new features, which is that sphere over there. So we're going to just go ahead and collect everything normally. I'm going to have to go over everything again and add more stuff, because as you can see, I've got build history that's wrote on the level walls here, like a madman. It's scrawled everywhere and all the different things that I've done. So we've got up to 2.2 there. I'm going to add 2.3 in. But 2.3 contains all the stuff that I had previously in, like all the pickup icons, which I'm not too sure whether I want to do this anymore, because it's kind of too hand-holding, and as you'll see with the new asset, I'm kind of going back on the whole idea of hand-holding with different icons and other things, because they do that a lot in newer games to help players, but it really kind of, it streamlines the games way too much, and I don't like the idea of it. So we've got the physics objects, which we can still use by pressing the left click to pick up. We can move around and knock things over if we want, and then right click throws things. I don't actually think the audio is working properly here at the moment, but it doesn't matter. Whenever you knock things into each other, they make sounds. I'm going to have to change that so I can edit the sounds, because now I know a little bit more about the engine through the process of learning this. Here we've got a trigger volume that sets off where we are, but only does it once. So as you saw, it just flicked up on screen and said test room. That's something that I've got from Dino Crisis, because it lets you know in Dino Crisis whereabouts you are. It does it every time you enter a door, but instead I thought I'd just do it once here, because during the test phase we have all kinds of like floating text that tells you where you are. But the new bit here, the main thing about this update, because I think I showed off the key panels the last time over here, which we can access and type in different things and then delete, or we can just do like, I think it was 1 2 3 4 for this one, and it'll open the door. No, wrong password. Let's try let's delete all that and do that one. Nope, wrong password again. Let's try 4 5 6 7 maybe. Nope, not got the password. Can't remember that one, but those are set by the editor themselves in the engine. So when you're designing a level, you can just set that, which is really cool, because it means that I can now have passworded doors and things. But the coolest bit about this is making a Resident Evil or Dino Crisis style interactable, where you can read through things, and this is going to be like a major part, similar to how other horror games have documentation that you can read and give yourself a little bit of lore or background that has to do with the story. What I've done here is the blueprint today allows me to, when I click this, comes up, and this is all based on Dino Crisis. I might actually have to do this so I can remove things before we look at them, because otherwise they overlap here. Well, this text document, as it says, a placeholder document which will contain important information for the full game. These documents serve as lore and details about the scenario and story, detailing key elements from what actually happened, as the story is based on real events. The inspiration from these documents was taken from such classic horror games from the PS1 era as Resident Evil and Dino Crisis. Each document has large multiple pages that are easily readable in-game, provided the players can find them. And then we've got a next page button here, so we click that with the mouse, and it immediately makes everything that was on the previous page invisible, and makes everything that's on the current page visible. And the way that this works, it's pretty neat. I got it as a neat little thing here. Once we click exit, we can move around again, but while we are interacting with it, the game is paused and we can only use the mouse. I haven't got a go back button on it. I think I should maybe include a go back button, which won't be too bad at the moment in terms of just flicking backwards and forwards between the pages. But the way this works is that you set the widget or the display that you want. It's a user interface widget. When you click on it, you press E key and it interacts with it, and it displays something which I picked out of my my Dino Crisis playthrough that I'm doing currently. This is where I got the inspiration from. And the way that it's displayed is heavily impacted or inspired by Dino Crisis, so it has this text box that is slightly a little bit brighter than everything else around you. While this is happening, you can't press anything else. I'm pressing the keyboard, nothing's happening. You can only use the mouse for this bit. And while this is going on as well, the entire game is paused, similar to the older games. The only thing that's interactable is this little button down here that has a V on it. When we press that, it goes to the next page, and what happens is, as this loads up originally, before it loads up, it says to itself in the blueprint, the second page or subsequent pages after the first one are hidden before you interact with the blueprint, and then everything else is visible on page 1. And then when the player clicks the next button or the next page button, what happens is everything on page 1 is immediately hidden, and everything on page 2 that was pre-hidden before you clicked it is then made visible again, including the exit button, which I could just easily make that to a next button or have like an exit and a previous page there so that it flicks back to the first page. That's easily done. But then when you click exit, what happens is you get given all of your controls back, so you are given freedom to move around and interact with things like you would do, and you can go back and click it again if you want, as you've seen. So that's what I did this morning. That's pretty cool. It was, looking at it now, is a little bit easier to set up because I have reference on it, but it's just so cool to actually be able to interact with stuff. What I'm going to have to do is when I interact with things like that, get rid of the objectives and then make them visible again. I don't know quite how I can do that the easy way yet. I might just get rid of the objectives, to be honest, because the objectives are more of a hand-holding thing. But yeah, I'm going through this process of seeing what works and what doesn't. It's going to be interesting when I have the actual environment done up properly about how it's going to affect things like whether players need their hands held or not, because depending on how the testing is and how everything is done in the alpha, depends on how the full game will end up. Also, I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the graphics as well, like whether I'm going to keep them like this because I wanted something simple so it was easy to manage, or whether I'm going to go a little bit more realistic. The only problem is if I do that, I'm going to need different characters, and characters are not easy to do. So it's kind of weird at the moment. It's taking its form, but there's a lot of different choices that can be made, and now that my interactables are done, I should be able to streamline this, and hopefully in the alpha we'll start seeing the game emerge more. I want to, because I've been playing more horror games, like classic horror games recently on the PS1, I want to try and do stuff that's similar to that. Like once I'm done with Dino Crisis, I'm going to go back to Resident Evil 3 and see what can be done to inspire things from there. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying this, and I'm really enjoying how things are coming along. So yeah, that's been another update. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I shall see you next time. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Bye!